I'm disappointed in my pregnant wife for gaining weight and becoming lazy. Story. Over the weekend, my wife and I went on a hiking trip with some of my friends. We've always been active people, but it kind of seems like my wife, who's 6 months pregnant, has sort of turned into a couch potato in recent weeks. It's caused her to gain a bit of weight and become moody, so I figured some exercise would be good for her and for me. Well, I thought I picked a pretty easy hike. It's a trail that's close to our house and not that long, about 3 miles out and back, but it can be a bit steep in places. She's done it before, so it couldn't have been too much of a surprise. Well, we were about a third of the way done when my wife started huffing and puffing. My friends slowed down to accommodate her, so I decided to slow down too. After half a mile of the huffing and puffing, my wife looked pretty bad. She got really pale and was hunched over on one side of the trail. I was sort of shocked to see her in this state. She had let herself go recently, but I didn't think she would lose her fitness this quickly. However, a few minutes later, she actually started to throw up, and it was at this point that we all decided to head back. I'm fully aware that she's going to deliver a baby in 3 months, but I can't help but think that she wouldn't have embarrassed me in front of my friends if she had kept up her exercise routine. We both ate the same food at breakfast, and I never got sick, so that couldn't be it either. We got back to the parking lot, and I apologized for my wife's behavior to my friends. I thought I was out of earshot, but apparently my wife heard the whole thing. When I got back to the car, she went nuts. She told me that I was an idiot for thinking she could keep up at our normal pace and that I was a grade A asshole for insinuating that my wife had thrown up on purpose. I listened to her rant at me before politely asking if she thought she would have felt so sick if she hadn't been a couch potato recently, but she refused to engage with me at all. I wanted it to dawn on her that she was at least partially to blame for this, but she refused to take any responsibility. This happened on Saturday, and even today has been really tense. It's as if she's holding a grudge against me, and I don't know how to get her to stop. She's really making me sad with this horrible treatment. Am I the a-hole here? Response 1. I have to say this loud and clear. Your wife didn't let herself go. She is growing another human being in her body, and it's tiring. She needs to relax when she feels tired, not need to go out and do hikes because you think she needs it. Also, she's going to gain weight. It's not from being a couch potato. It's perfectly healthy. You would want to be concerned if she wasn't gaining weight. Well, we were about 1/3 of the way done when my wife started huffing and puffing. My friends slowed down to accommodate her, so I decided to slow down too. You thought she should be able to keep up normal pacing? You're the a-hole. You seriously owe your wife a huge apology. She didn't embarrass you. You embarrassed yourself with your own behavior. Also, she's really making me sad with this horrible treatment. Do you have any remorse for how you treated her? Reply 1. Adding. Just because you ate the same things for breakfast doesn't mean it sat well with her. I seriously couldn't eat a lot of what I normally would for the whole 9 months of my pregnancy. Reply 2. Also, the volume of blood in your body increases while you're pregnant, making you easily winded even if you previously wouldn't have been. And at 6 months, baby could be big enough to be pressing on her lungs too. OP is lucky that all that happened was that she threw up. Reply 3. Right, OP is very lucky. His wife didn't end up in the hospital or put on bed rest. But then he wouldn't care. He would just say she was being lazy and letting herself go even more. Reply 4. I'll bet OP is the kind of husband who on day 1 of postpartum is immediately like, baby's out, time to stop being lazy and lose the baby fat. Response 2, YTA, a grade A-hole, as your wife so accurately put it, has sort of turned into a couch potato in recent weeks. It's caused her to gain a bit of weight and become moody. So I figured some exercise would be good for her and for me. She could lose like 180 pounds by dropping the dead weight known as guy who doesn't understand that his wife is growing an entire human being. Response 3, YTA. Please be a troll. She hasn't gained weight or let herself go. She is growing a human. It's tiring. It's hard. You want to do it, then basically be forced to go on a hike because your husband is acting like you're horribly ugly and awful? Response 4. Honestly, it's a crime. I won't be there to see the look on your face when you get served divorce papers. Edit. You're the a-hole. Reply 1. This would be the best reality show. AA says something terrible and defends it, then gets served both facts from an expert in the field and divorce papers from a lawyer. It can be both educational and cathartic. Response 5. Listen, don't get me wrong, I hate you, but maybe familiarize yourself with what is happening inside your wife's body right now, other than growing another whole human. Baby is starting to jam all your wife's organs out of place, including moving her stomach 45 degrees, so it's now level with her intestines. As the baby grows, it's just going to keep displacing things, including lowering your wife's lung capacity because there's only so much room in there. But I get the sense you think pregnancy is just getting fat. Again, I really don't like you, but even if I did, you'd still be the a-hole. You're the a-hole. Response 6, YTA, and just A, for your information, a baby shifts the lungs to where it makes it harder to breathe. If your wife can't breathe, the baby can't either. You should have stopped when she started huffing and puffing. Reply 1, I don't think people who haven't been pregnant realize how much this impacts life. As the uterus/womb grows, all the other organs are literally shoved up into the rib cage. I'm only 20 WX, and going up one flight of stairs has me huffing and puffing. I live in a townhouse. I go up and down the stairs all the time, and I get winded super easily. Yes, some people are able to keep doing all the same things they did before, but the vast majority can't. I get exhausted from the little things most days, but other days, I've got bottomless energy. It's constantly changing and so much to deal with. OP is the biggest ignorant you're the a-hole in a long time. Response 7. Even giving you the full benefit of the doubt with all of the disparaging remarks about your wife in this post, you're the a-hole. Some pregnant women could do a hike like this without any issues, but pregnancy affects everyone's body differently. Not everyone can keep the same pace. The reason OP is the AH is because of the complete and utter disdain for his life partner who is carrying his child. Growing a child inside one's body is exhausting by itself. Apologizing for her behavior is the bridge too far. Even if the wife didn't overhear, it's not a fault to not be able to do the same physical tasks that were done before pregnancy. The remarks to the friends are definitely grade A AH talk. All that to say, you're a giant ADTH OP. Have some empathy for the person who's about to bring your progeny into the world. Hopefully she raises them to be more grateful and empathetic than you. Response 8. YTA in a huge way. Genuinely hope this is fake. As if that's how you talk about and treat your pregnant wife, you're a massive a-hole. She's 6 months pregnant. Of course she's going to gain some weight or be a little moody. She's carrying your child. And she's making you feel sad. You treated her like crap. The more I think about it, this post has to be some sort of bait to get on a podcast or TikTok or something. The story feels really weird. Response 9. F. This is a clear one. She's pregnant. That's all there needs to be said. It's bizarre that you think she got fat because she's not exercising. She's effing pregnant. Somehow I don't think you quite realize this. You're the a-hole. Response 10. YTA. Is this bait or something? You're seriously mad your heavily pregnant wife gained weight? Yeah. She's growing another entire human being. And then you're doubly the AH for bringing her on a hike, which is probably one of the worst activities for her RN. Laugh out loud. Reply 1. It does seem like rage bait. OP, how do you not understand any of the myriad changes a body goes through in order to create another human? The couch potato comments make you sound deranged and kinda stupid. You're the a-hole. Response 11. YTA, please let this post be satire. She's pregnant. She's allowed to be moody and to gain weight. It doesn't mean that she needs exercise. Response 12. Rage bait. But if it's not, let me be clear. You're the a-hole. She's growing your child inside of her and going through a lot of changes. Her body will get tired more quickly. To be fair, she could easily drop dead weight by removing you as a partner. Response 13. I usually never comment on these, but you're the a-hole, a giant one, huge. I can't help but think that she wouldn't have embarrassed me in front of my friends if she had kept up her exercise routine. The fact that you were more concerned about your perceived embarrassment than on whether or not your wife was okay. Man, I hope she dumps your ass and runs the other way. You're a parsack. Response 14, YTA, your wife is pregnant. All sorts of things are going on in her body, both chemical and physical, late in a pregnancy. It is often very uncomfortable for someone to exist while pregnant, never mind go hiking. Honestly, when you described how she became ill with nausea, again, common ailment in pregnant women, and you thought she was making it up to embarrass you in front of your friends, YTA. This isn't all about you. You should get a book on what to expect when you're pregnant and really try to understand what is going on from your wife's perspective. At the same time, your wife needs to think about her limitations when signing up to do things. That will keep her from becoming deeply uncomfortable, which impacts everyone, including the child she is carrying. Response 15. This has to be some kind of bait. No one can be this clueless. She's gaining weight because she's growing a person. Her center of gravity has changed because she's growing a human. She didn't embarrass you. She threw up while trying to please you. She strained herself because you are obviously unhappy with her. How did you expect her to produce another human without her body changing? She needs to get away from you. Your behavior is abusive, your expectations are completely irrational, and your treatment of her is abhorrent. I can't imagine how you'll treat her while she's recovering from birth, after her entire abdomen has been rearranged by having another person residing in there. You're the a-hole. Response 16. YTA, bro, seriously? She's pregnant. Obviously, she's going to keep up on fitness. Do you have any idea how hard it is to grow a human inside you? Obviously not. You would fail within 2 weeks. Get some flowers, her favorite food, and apologize for being an insensitive jerk and for having very, very terrible ideas on how pregnancy should go. Response 17, YTA. Also, apparently you are an authority on pregnancy. Why a 6 months pregnant woman might throw up on a hike must be all the weight gain, couldn't be anything else like hypertension or another issue that might occur during a pregnancy. And how much weight is or is not acceptable for a woman to gain during a pregnancy, and why. You are also monumentally self-centered. You were upset because your wife's nausea and discomfort and difficulty with the hike embarrassed you in front of your friends. You even apologized to them for your wife, who was simply acting like a pregnant woman trying to hike. I'm sure your wife was not thrilled to perform so poorly on the hike either. Maybe you could have supported her in that instance, instead of blaming her for what happened and letting everyone know that it was all her fault for being irresponsible and not keeping up an exercise program. But of course, as you say, you pointed it out politely. Because it cannot be stressed enough, you're the a-hole. Response 18. We've always been active people, but it kind of seems like my wife, who's 6 months pregnant, has sort of turned into a couch potato in recent weeks. It's caused her to gain a bit of weight and become moody, so I figured some exercise would be good for her and for me. This is a joke, right? Complaining about your wife, that is having a child growing inside her for 6 months now, is gaining weight. What did you think would happen? That she'd just be as active as always. Same behavior, not gaining weight. And then one day just have a kid in her arms? And the same day we'll go on a hike again? You're the a-hole in every possible way. It doesn't seem that you care about her well-being, her being sick. That you don't get sick from food doesn't say anything at all. Response 19. Dude, what the hell is wrong with you? I want to believe this is not real, but then why would someone make this up? You're the a-hole, 1000%. Response 20. YTA. She's 6 freaking months pregnant. Pregnant people often gain weight because, the whole growing a person thing, which takes a metric ton of energy to do. And if you think she's tired now, she's going to be even twice as tired from having to care for a newborn and breastfeeding. She's not going to get back her old level of fitness for at least another year, especially if she's a stum. Freaking yikes. Reply 1. She'll be especially tired because I doubt this clown is going to be much help in the parenting department.